Hello everyone, my name is Chantel and today I'm going to talk to you guys about Bali, what to see, some things that you might not expect as well, because I feel like all over the internet and especially Instagram you always see the highlight reels for everything, but you don't see what the place is actually like. I wanted to travel to Bali, I'm not gonna lie, for a long time. Mostly based off of the fact, all of the Instagram videos and pictures are just beautiful, so I mean, and it's a spiritual place, a very spiritual, full of Hindu religion, and that religion has always intrigued me because I am a big believer like universal energy and such. So yeah, but based off of all of let's start off with what to expect. From when you land at the airport, take your taxi back to your villa. I didn't see any of this anywhere, so it's almost like, as arrogant as it might sound, like Bali was like this Indonesian Hawaii. It's not. It still has some places in poverty. It still has rundown buildings all over the place. It has crazy traffic, absolutely crazy traffic. Usually in an island, you wouldn't expect that crazy traffic. Everybody is driving motorcycles for the most part, and they are driving like just centimeters from each other. As long as they're not actually hitting each other, there's no traffic rules at all. So that was crazy. Kind of how it works for your money, 100,000 rupiahs is 7 American dollars. So that can give you kind of leeway, 10,000 is 7 cents. So you can kind of work that out. It's good to know that before you go, kind of work with those numbers. And taxis are not too expensive, but if you're taking them a lot, then I guess they could add up as one of the most expensive things about your trip. But for us it was more worth it to take a taxi than to go through all that crazy traffic. But that's just us personally. We used our motorbike to go up and down the street that we were on to find restaurants and some close by shops and stuff like that. So it still worked out for us. For us it was $60,000 a day. We had it for 6 days, so it was like $42, so that's cheap for something like that. Keep in mind also that taxi drivers, so the most popular and the best app for Bali or Indonesia, I think in general, there's Uber there, there's Gojek and Grab. So I didn't find very many Ubers. Gojek is what we used, and so that's like an international app that is kind of it's basically the same thing as Uber. And what's nice about that is it gives you a price right off the bat so that the driver can't really jib you. It says on the app you're going from the place you're getting picked up to the place that you're going to, and this is how much it is, and it was a reasonable price. So you didn't get random numbers from taxi drivers. Make sure that you give a number to somebody before you get in a car with them, because you don't want to start that conversation later. And usually staying in the 200,000 range, 200,000 depending how far you're going, is good. I wouldn't go above that. I think on average we paid around 220,000 rupiahs for a taxi drive for an hour and a half or something like that. But yeah, and a lot of drivers are willing to literally stay with you all day. We had 2 different people offer us, and we took the opportunity for it too, because it was well worth it to have a ride as soon as we were done with something. Dropped us off at a place, waited around for hours sometimes, and just was there to pick us up right after. And they were just super kind about it. They didn't try to make us pay for the waiting time in between, but I made sure that I stated that beforehand. But yeah, Another app people use is Grab. That is kind of like Uber Eats. It's delivery for food. So that's another app that you can get. WhatsApp is another popular app. I think that's like internationally in general, maybe not so much in the US, but internationally, everybody's phone number is a WhatsApp number. And that kind of works because if you don't have a SIM card or you haven't told your service provider, when you have Wi-Fi, you can still contact people. So that's the way to contact like everybody in Bali, and I'm guessing in a lot of international places, is through WhatsApp. So I would definitely recommend getting that. So we went to the monkey sanctuary. That is like a must do when you go to Bali. There are monkeys all over the place. I want to see him get it. But yeah, all over the place. As soon as you walk in, these monkeys are not scared of you. They're not they're not like naturally aggressive animals. But something I do want to inform you of that I wasn't informed of: don't carry plastic bags. Somebody in the park gave me a plastic bag because I bought something, and a monkey like just saw it from a distance and just like pinpointed it and just ran at me and just attacked it and ripped it open and chased me to try to get it. And yeah, it was pretty scary. I like ran off and like waved it around and I ended up getting him off. But there was a lot, like saw somebody get down on the ground, and this monkey jumped on his back and unzipped all of his backpack pockets and all this stuff. So yeah, just be careful. Do not carry plastic bags. Do not carry anything that looks like you could steal. I would keep your sunglasses if you have them, like on your head, not above your head. Just pay attention to those little things. But another thing is, do not look them directly in the eye. I made this horrible mistake. I didn't know. I saw a sign afterwards about like no plastic bags and don't stare a monkey in the eye and don't feed them. But yeah, so there's like this little, they're all over the place. There was this little monkey. Never mind, he wasn't little. He was actually a pretty big sized monkey, but he was like on the path, just sitting there, and I just stopped and looked at him for a second, and he freaked out. Like, he just went nuts and he started chasing me, and I was just running. I thought, like, you know, he'd stop sooner or later, but no, he didn't. He kept chasing me. He was like pulling at my pant legs and trying to rip at them and wouldn't stop. And so like my boyfriend got in between me and the monkey didn't give a shit about him. He just wanted to get me. And he like hissed, growled at us and was like showing his teeth, and their teeth are like this big. They're no joke. So yeah, I kind of like had to sneak by him, and then I think another one tried to go at me another time, and I just got past him before he could really try to get me. And I don't want to like make you scared to go to the monkey sanctuary, because you must go to it. It is amazing. I don't even regret it after all that happening, but just keep that stuff in mind. And like I said, they're not naturally aggressive creatures. Like, you can just like get up right next to one. As long as you don't make those mistakes, you should be good.
Alors, c'est pas grave. Arrête, après on verra. Allez, tais-toi.
Oh, here comes the big guy. Aww. The waterfalls are a must-do in Bali. That was one of the major reasons I wanted to go to Bali too, is seeing all of the gorgeous waterfalls. Fortunately, I didn't see a bunch of them. There are tours that you can book. I use Airbnb to like go around and see all of the waterfalls. But we did see two, Sing Sing, and the other one was, I don't remember what it was, but it's a pretty semi-popular one. The Sing Sing one though was like so busy. You have to pay to get into these places. If you book a tour though, it's like an all-inclusive thing. You've already paid, your tour guide will take care of it. And there's like no signs to try to find things, so that's why I think a tour guide is necessary, unless you've been there several times. I don't know, in that case you wouldn't be watching this. The rice terraces are another beautiful thing about Bali. They are all over the place, and I mean all over the place. They are not just like, I had the impression they were just out in the middle of the jungle and that's it. You know, these beautiful cathedral looking like, and when I say that it's because they're like layered and they get deeper and they're all around you. But no, there are literally rice terraces or just rice fields right off the street. Seriously, right off the street. There is like a place that sells gas and like a rice field and then like a abandoned building. It's like a lot of a rice field, and I mean it's gorgeous. It's totally unexpected though, so you can see them. You can see some pretty nice ones too, like on the I don't know if you call them highways there or not, but on those type of areas where there's more open fields, you can definitely see those without going to a specific rice terrace. But they are very gorgeous. They do have a lot of the swings that you see people all over the internet swinging on. You have to pay to go onto those though, but it is like marvelous. They're just so massive and you can just kind of hike down it, like all over the place. Yeah, so that's pretty gorgeous to visit those two. Highly recommend that. Another one, this probably was one of my top 2 favorites, is the coffee plantation. So Bali is home to the world's best coffee and most expensive coffee. It's called the luwak coffee. And so a luwak, everybody thinks it's like a monkey, because that's kind of the rumor that I heard. When I went there, I had no idea that this coffee was produced there. But yeah, you can go to the coffee plantation and to look at it yourself. Luwaks kind of look like giant ferrets. Not really aggressive or anything like that. I actually got to pet one at a coffee place. So they showed us the coffee plantation, they showed us the coffee beans, they showed us what else they grew there. They grew like vanilla, they had cacao, what else they had? Ginseng, they had cinnamon, the chilies, they had what else? Peppercorns. So that was really cool to see all of that. It's not as big of a place as you think it would be. That's why they don't really export it, is they don't have enough supply for all of that. But he explained the processes of it. Basically, the luwaks go and they eat the coffee beans when they're really young. They're like a cherry at the time, like the red cherries, and they only eat the best ones, I guess. And so they ferment in their bodies and they do something to the chemical properties or whatever for like a day or two and basically poop them out. But they're totally not digested and they're whole, and they take them, clean them thoroughly, and roast them. It's pretty traditional in the way that they roast them too. It's literally like over a fire. It's pretty cool to see. Do a Bali healing ceremony. The 2 biggest things that brought me to Bali was the next one that I'm going to say. The culture, the religion, the beliefs, so incredibly beautiful. Do a Bali healing ceremony. I did one because I'm really interested in spirituality and exploring other religions and other places of the world and what they do for these types of things that differ from mine, so I can learn about it. I cried like a baby. I booked this on Airbnb. It was in a book. So what you did is you met with your healer. I think mine was like Desserach, but you did a palm reading. You can do it with somebody else if you want to, or you can do it by yourself. Basically, it's a palm reading describing your past, future, and your present. And so that the healer can kind of get an idea of what it is that she needs to cleanse from you. So after this, you will go off into this like extended porch that's over a river, and there's like a bunch of flowers all over the place, and they will do the ceremony one by one. So you sit on the flowers, and there is a big bucket full of holy water and flowers. So it is an Indonesian belief, or maybe it's a Hindu belief, that water is cleansing. And it can rid negative things, quite literally. Yeah, so you were over this porch that was over a river, and they pour the holy water and flowers over you, and the belief is ridding you of all those negative energies, washing them off of you, all the worries, and having them flow into the river and flow all the way into the ocean. So it's a really beautiful belief. It's a beautiful experience. Afterwards, they gave power to you by pouring the holy water and flowers on me, and for me, she gave me the blessing of knowledge, wisdom, love, and harmony. And afterwards, we went and we carried offerings over our heads, and we did the prayers to the Hindu gods like people do all over Bali and probably Indonesia in general, anyone of the Hindu religion. And it was nice to be able to learn all of those prayers. I just had coffee on me the whole time. So all over Bali you will find something like this, and at first we didn't understand what that was. We kept asking, but it was kind of hard to get a direct answer because nobody really understood or couldn't speak it to us very well, to explain it to us very well in English. But basically what it is an offering to the Hindu gods, and they put that out there every morning all over the place. They're literally on sidewalks, like they're in shops, they're everywhere that you go. Everywhere. Like we found one outside of our villa and I had no idea even how it got there. But yeah, so we got to learn how to do that ourselves, and we got to pray to each Hindu god and learn like what you're praying to and how to do the proper prayer and what it means and what it gets. So that was really awesome. I think it's really important that when you try to go and learn about the religion and the culture there as well, and just makes it so much more beautiful and you can understand it more. Temples. Let's talk about temples too. There are temples all over the place in Bali. They are not just the big grandiose ones that you see on Instagram. They are all over the place. So basically the law in Bali is that when you build something like a home, a shop, a farm, whatever it is, you are required to build a temple to go with it, to pray for it and to bless that place, because you can just everywhere, literally everywhere, you can just be driving down the street, there could be like a shop and then there's a beautiful temple right next to it. Of course those ones are private, but the public ones are, you know, very big, and you can tell that they are public. You can also just research it beforehand. There are some more popular ones. Keep in mind you do have to wear sarong to enter a temple, and you also cannot be menstruating. That is the belief. So I mean, usually there is a place that you can get a sarong in front of the temple, either rent one, buy one, or just have one lended to you. But if they don't have it, I would just keep, like, if you're gonna go see a temple or you're, you know, something, just keep maybe keep a sarong in your bag or something as well. I don't think you'll have any problem finding one that'll just, you know, give it to you beforehand, but if you want to, you can definitely keep it in your bag. They are absolutely beautiful, and that's where the locals go to do their prayers and their ceremonies. It is also a law in Bali and probably all of Indonesia that once you're born, you have a ceremony of cleansing and of blessing and all that. And then every 6 months after that day, after your birthday, you must have a ceremony as well. There's a bunch of other things that are entailed with that, as like when you can't have a ceremony or when you have to have a ceremony or something like that. But I'm not going to go into that because I probably would butcher a lot of it. But it's really interesting to learn, and I would love to go back and learn more about it. Nusa Penida. Guys, if you go to Bali, you have to go to Nusa Penida. It is so incredibly gorgeous. So you take a speedboat from Denpasar, the port in Denpasar, and then when you show up, you can either rent a scooter or a taxi. The first place that we went to go see was Kelingking Beach. That is probably the most photographed place in Nusa Penida. The other place that we went to was Angel's Boomerang, I think is what it's called. It's like a crevice with rocks that's right off of the cliffs, and normally you can swim in there, but the waves were so crazy that it was off limits. But the benefit of that is we were able to see some massive waves crashing in and going all over the place, so that was pretty cool. But the other place that we went to was Broken Beach. I did not know this, but Broken Beach is on my vision board, and I didn't even know where it was or like that we were gonna see it. I had no clue. So it was an amazing feeling to just turn around and see this massive thing that was on my vision board and to see it for myself. My cat is just climbing the wall right now and just fell. But yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. Nusa Penida is very hot. has a lot of, it's made of a lot of limestone. It's very, it's very undeveloped, not very many shops, hardly any shops, and not very many restaurants either. So make sure to subscribe to this channel. I want to give you guys lots of other travel content, maybe record my next spiritual experience like the Bali healing one. Also, check out my blog and my Instagram. My blog is about travel and spirituality, and you can see more of the photos of it on my Instagram, so go ahead and check it out, guys.